Hi guys, welcome to the channel. Here I have some Escitalopram 20 milligrams that I have been prescribed, and I just want to talk about my story with these pills, and I've actually just started taking them again. So originally I got prescribed citalopram, normal citalopram, 10 milligrams. I started taking it and it just made me a hell of a lot worse. I felt absolutely terrible, anxiety was worse. I felt awful. I'd done a bit of research online. I read up about different medications, and I read that escitalopram is like a cleaner version of citalopram, and a lot of people had a lot more success using escitalopram. So I told the doctor about this. He decided to give me escitalopram. I think it's more expensive than citalopram. I think that's why they don't like to dish it out first of all. I'm not sure, that's what I heard. So it did improve everything. Quite a lot actually. I went from being completely housebound. I was housebound for like 1 year and a half. Never left the house in a year and a half. This was back in 2016. And I went from that to being able to travel alone all the way to the Philippines. And I got a job and I was working in the Philippines, and I was pretty fine actually. I mean, I had the odd symptoms here and there, but overall I was pretty fine. And what happened was, I actually ran out of medication while I was in the Philippines. I ran out of escitalopram. I realised escitalopram is mega expensive there. It was like, you're talking about over $100 a month. And, I was just English teaching. I wasn't earning loads of money, so I thought I can't afford that. What I'm going to do is, I feel fine now, I'm just going to come off it, So I kind of tapered myself off it just by cutting the pills down to 5 milligrams. And then when I ran out, that was it. Just stopped. And actually, I didn't really notice a change. I thought, oh, maybe I'm okay, maybe I'm fine. Anyway, the coronavirus thing happened. I couldn't stay there anymore. Lost the job there. I got stuck in my apartment building for like 4 months trying to get a flight home because there was no flights at the time. It was pretty horrific. So basically I was just stuck there indoors for 4 months, and that took its toll on me a little bit, to be honest. Coming out of anxiety and depression and all that, getting a job finally, and then all this stuff hit, and it's almost as if I went back to square one in a lot of respects. And anyway, I've been back in England now for like nigh on a year, and my anxiety over time, over this period of being stuck indoors again, has just gradually come back. And I've started getting really bad with it again. The depression is there, the anxiety is there. I'm even getting a little bit agoraphobic again, and I thought, I can't deal with this again. So I just started on the escitalopram again. I called the doctor. I think I'm even getting some diazepam, even though I don't like taking diazepam, but that's another story. I'm only going to take that in emergency situations anyway. But yeah, I'm starting off on the escitalopram again. This time you give me 20 milligrams because of my history and everything with anxiety, and they found that 20 milligrams works best for me. Little do they know that I never take 20 milligrams. I always cut them in half and take 10. And I sometimes cut them into quarters like this, if you can capture that. I cut them into quarters like that when I first start off taking them. Right, this is a tip. The doctor, when they give you these medications, at least in England, they don't tell you to taper onto the medication. They'll just give you 20 milligrams and say take them. So people are just going from 0 to 20. And for those who don't know, 20 milligrams of escitalopram is the equivalent of like 40 milligrams of normal citalopram. Because this is so clean in the way that it's made, it's a lot stronger and potent than normal citalopram. So yeah, I've heard that this is the equivalent of 40 milligrams of normal citalopram, which is a very, very, very high dose for an SSRI. So if I'm taking this 5 milligram, I'm actually starting off on 10 milligram. If you take the 20, you're actually starting off on 40, if that makes sense. It's kind of like that. So if you just go necking a pill of 20 milligrams of escitalopram from 0, I reckon you're going to have some major side effects in most cases. I'm not saying everyone, because everyone's different, but I know from my experience that when I was first told to do that by the doctor, it hit me like a ton of bricks. I felt like I was going insane. I felt like I was going crazy. My anxiety went through the roof. I felt really uncontrollable, and it scared the bejeebers out of me, so I stopped taking them. I was like, whoa, 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 no, I'm not taking these. I've done a little bit of my own research, and I realised if you taper onto them, as well as tapering off them, it's really got much less of an impact on that initial sort of dose when you first take it. So I tried it, and I started off with 5 milligrams, and it really worked. I felt a little bit like more anxious than that, but it wasn't really that bad. It was not much more than usual. So that's how you do it, guys. Don't just go taking the full dose at first. I take 5 milligrams for about a week, and then I start taking 10. I doubt I'll ever go up to 20, honestly. I think 10 done it for me last time, and I think 20 is a bit overkill. I think if I was taking 20 milligrams, I might be really zombified, and I just think that's too much. When I'm taking 10 milligrams of escitalopram, that's like 20 milligrams of normal citalopram, basically. So it's quite a high dose, and I think that's enough for me. I don't really want to go to the heights of taking 20 milligrams of escitalopram. I think that's too much, personally. But anyway, yeah. I started taking 5 milligrams about 4 days ago. I've noticed a little change already in the severeness of the symptoms of anxiety, the physical symptoms, and yeah. But I'm gonna keep taking them again, and hopefully, they do take a little while to work. That's the problem with these SSRIs. Although sometimes you can take one, and it will kind of have a sort of immediate effect, or you feel as if it does. They actually usually don't start working properly for at least a few weeks. The doctor tells you usually like 4 weeks to 6 weeks, sometimes 8 weeks. It really depends on the individual, but yeah, they do take a little while for to feel the full effect of them, but sometimes they can have an immediate effect, or at least they feel like they do. And I've certainly noticed a difference since I just started taking 5 milligrams a few days ago. I've already noticed that the physical symptoms, like the heart palpitations and the feeling dizzy and the sort of nervousness. I've got this constant nervousness and irritability, and almost as if I'm shaking, but internally. Sounds weird, but that's how it feels. That has died down a lot already, which is very good. I'm over the moon about that. And yeah, right now my anxiety problems are really just up and down. A lot of the times I'll feel fine. I'll not feel too bad, and I'll just be thinking, oh well, there's not much to this anxiety stuff, and then other times I'll be literally like completely grounded with it. I feel as if my throat is closing up, globus hystericus, they call it. I get that quite regular. I get out of breath very severely, and when I get out of breath I feel very lightheaded, almost as if I'm about to pass out, but I never actually do pass out. Sometimes it comes with a lot of fatigue, just fear, intense fear, almost as if a terrible thing is going to happen. I'm on the last legs of my life, and I'm going to be executed type of fear. Chest pains, chest tightness, all sorts of things, all sorts of weird and wonderful things. But yeah, I'm on the old escitalopram path again, which I don't really want to be on. I don't really like taking medications, especially things like SSRIs that can have side effects. Diazepam is even more dangerous. Like, don't really get involved with benzodiazepines. They're very, very dangerous. I usually have them as an emergency procedure. Like, if I'm having a very, very terrible panic attack, uncontrollable to the point where I'm like, my body's freezing up physically and all that, maybe I'll have a 2 milligram pill just to chill me out. But it's very, very seldom. Like, in the past probably like 14 to 16 months, I've probably had 4 diazepam pills, 2 milligram, for very low dose. So that is a pretty safe way to take them. If you take maybe 1-2 milligram pill every 3 months, you're not really going to get addicted or have any long-term effects from that. But people that rely on them and take them daily or weekly or anything like that, they're highly addictive, highly dangerous. A lot of research recently has found they cause Alzheimer's and all sorts of things. Like, they're a very, very dangerous drug. Actually, they can make anxiety much worse in the long run. But the way I take them, I find them very useful because it's like you've got something there in your pocket. I keep them in my wallet and I've got them there for an emergency, and it's almost like a comfort blanket, you know. It's like, if I do have a really bad panic attack that I feel I'm totally out of control, I've got me little friends there in my wallet. Pop one of them and I'll feel better, and I know I'll feel better. And just knowing that a lot of the time, without even taking one, calms me down. It's got this like calming effect, just knowing that you've got that there as an emergency, you know. So I very, very seldom take them, but I just like having them there. I don't have any at the moment, but the doctor's going to give me some. Yeah, so I will make a log of this journey on the Escitalopram. Hopefully it will have the same effect as last time, where I felt basically completely better to a degree. I would never say completely better, because I don't believe that you can cure anxiety just with the medication. I don't believe that Escitalopram is a cure. What I would say is, a lot of the times with anxiety, I struggled with just not being afraid of the symptoms, like the physical symptoms, like I've just been mentioning, the tightness of the throat, the breathlessness, all this stuff scared the hell out of me. And what these do is to kind of subdue those physical symptoms to the point I barely notice them, and I find it a lot easier to cope. And bearing that in mind, I found it a lot easier to like get back to some sort of normality and figure things out for myself and get into a better mental state without the constant nuisance of the physical bodily sensations always reminding me, if that makes sense. That's how I found it worked for me, and I'm just hoping they'll have a very similar effect this time. I don't see why not. I mean, it should work the same way as before. But yeah, it's pretty bad right now. Struggling quite a bit. I mean, I don't know if this epidemic thing has got a lot to do with it. Overthinking of what's going on in the world right now. I don't know if this has brought up a lot of it. Of course, being imprisoned in our own homes right now, for someone who's, I literally had just gotten out of agoraphobia. Like, agoraphobia was probably the worst time of my entire life. I was trapped in this room for like over a year and a half, actually, just trapped here, and it was absolutely awful. And I got through that, and I got back on my feet again, and I just managed to travel all the way to the Philippines on my own and get a job, and everything seemed to be going well. I had my own apartment in a beautiful complex, had a beach resort, had a pool, everything. I was just like thinking, this is great, this is amazing. And then, just as you think you're getting back on your feet and life's like dealing you a decent hand, the coronavirus thing happened, set everything back, destroyed my job. So I lost my income, and yeah, I was forced into coming home and stuck home ever since again, in this cycle of being stuck in my bedroom. I don't have any friends, I don't have anyone to talk to, I don't have anyone to confide in, and it's just a very lonely existence. And I think the fact that I am alone and I don't have any friends and stuff to be one of the major contributors in my anxiety and depression and stuff. Although I don't like being around a lot of people, so it's kind of a never-ending cycle. I think this coronavirus, if it hadn't have happened, if none of this had ever happened, there's a huge chance I could be still in the Philippines now, working, saving money, and in a very good position, and not having a relapse of anxiety and depression. I could be very happy right now if none of this ever happened, but I guess there's many people out there that can say that. I think this has had a huge impact on a lot of people's lives, and it's very, very unfortunate that it's happened. Is this an attack on the mental state? I don't know. There seems to be a huge rise in depression and anxiety and mental disorders You know, you've got to wonder at the end of the day, what's more dangerous to human society: a virus that kills less than 1% of the people, or an epidemic of mental illnesses and depressions and suicides and anxiety and all the rest of it, you know. Anyway, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Peace out. Much love.